Okay, today I chose my topic, why sociology. I have passion in learning sociology, and I want to focus on issues related to race or racial inequality and that kind of stuff. So I want to tell you why I became interested in these issues. So first of all, who am I? I'm from South Korea, and I lived there most of my life there. So I'm the daughter. And I've always been a student. Last 6 years, I've been working as a tutor. So who am I? I'm Hyejin Song, Korean girl, woman, daughter. That was my status, and I never thought about being Asian in my whole life until I came to America in 2003. So I participated in exchange student program in my high school. I was assigned to live in Idaho, Idaho, and my whole town was white dominated. I mean, white. I was the only different color person. But even there, I never thought of myself being Asian. I was oh, okay, I have a different color. And I went to a college in Portland, Oregon, and then my school was 99% white students. And even there, I didn't think about myself as a minority and not even Asian. And I didn't think about anything about racism or racial issues, anything like that, because I didn't feel it. I didn't think that I experienced it. But after 2 years in college, I took a year off and I decided to go to Australia. So it's a very sexy kangaroo here. Very sexy kangaroo. So Australia had this visa called the working holiday visa to give a foreigner to work in Australia and travel legally. So I could get that visa and I went to Australia. And Australia is, I would say, their majority race is white people, but it's dramatically changing because they have very small population in huge country. So they figured, oh, we need more people if we want to develop as the first country. So they had this whole program that just bring people all from all over the world. So if you go to Sydney or major city, you will see very different colors of people. And I was one of them. And I just experienced something I never experienced in America. And if my friend asked me, oh, have you experienced racism in America? And I said, oh, no. Is there a racism in America? I would say, I don't think so, because back in my college, most African American students were basketball players. And they were so popular. So they chose oh, you want to have a lunch with us? Oh, thank you. So we sat with them and we had the lunch. So I told my friend, you know what? They chose, they said that they are the coolest people. But in Australia, I had, so most people, foreigners have to work in farm or restaurant, that kind of job that Australian people do not want to have. So I worked as a waitress, and one time, me and the European girl, white girl, we tried out. Our English was all right. I thought mine was better, and we ate well. And end of the day, the restaurant owner chose her over me, and I don't know. I just thought because of her whiteness, she was chosen. That's how I felt. And then whenever I turn on TV, Australian do not have their own program much. But whenever TV show, only white people. And then on the street, I see every color of people. On the TV, only white people, which I never experienced in America, And and then this woman, she's a Aboriginal, a native Australian people, and she won the gold medal in 2000 Senior Olympic. And while living in Australia, I had just one chance meeting Aboriginal people. So this kind of whole stuff, I was curious. I want to learn more, so I was like determined to come back to America and study more about this. But I could, don't be shocked about this picture. But I couldn't come back to America last 5 years. This is a very famous two comedian women, popular TV show. This happens like every year. They put on like being like as black and then like dancing, and then there's like racial issues coming up. And what Korean people defend is that actually they didn't try to be as a black person. This is a very, very loved Korean cartoon in Korea. And this character, his name is Michael. So what they tried to do was like being Michael, not being like racist, anything like that. But still, Korean people have no idea in American history that white people put on makeup as a black, and they made enforce the stereotype of black people. So I was like, oh, I have to study this more. But it's funny that when we talk about like other people racial issues, we say like, oh, we didn't mean it. But when this happens, we're like, oh no, it's not allowed. So you see like the slit eyes. And this is another stereotype that Charli is huge in Asia, and this guy is very, very popular Korean actor. But their first role in Hollywood has to be villain, like a bad guy. But they couldn't get the main nice the character. So I just keep going on. I mean, overall first. Have you read this book, like Because We're in Dixie? So I read like first time, oh, that was a good story. And then I watched the movie. Okay, it fits character. And recently, after taking 3 sociology classes at CCP, and I have to read this book again with my students, Korean students. So I have to translate every single sentence into Korean. And later I realized that any sentence indicated race of people. But they chose everyone white except one character. So I was like, whoa. So that's what I want to study. So since America is already like a melting pot, and I think Korea is becoming a melting pot too, and I think every society gonna be. So that's why I have a passion and I want to study more. Okay, thank you.